Alright, so we're going to do a little walk around video of the Chief. Interior. I do have the original manual and just like a cool little ad from when it was new. The original owner wrote a few notes and things in there, but it's pretty neat. Let's see, about 80,500 miles right now. As I said when we were talking earlier, I do drive it pretty regularly, about 10 times a month to work. The only thing on the interior that's not perfect is under these wood bead seat covers. The reason they're there is to hide those tears, not to hide them to be dishonest, but to hide them just from me seeing them every day. There's a couple tears on that seat, and there's one seam tear that could probably be stitched back together on this one. So a little stitching on this one, and then maybe that one may need to be reupholstered at some point if you want to. The back seat's in flawless condition. Headliner is perfect. All the lights work. Glass is good. All of the windows are manual. Crank up and down just like they should. It doesn't leak. Every now and then in a really severe rainstorm, I get a little bit in right up in that corner, and you can see just a little bit of daylight between the door and that seal. I mean, and you could fit maybe a playing card in there, but it doesn't seem to be a bad seal. It just seems like the door's not pushing on the seal hard enough, because all the rubber's been replaced. It's in good shape. Let's see, doors shut like they should. All the locks work with the original key and everything. Rear tailgate works. Goes up and down like it should. There's a hatch right there. Carpet's in decent shape, not perfect. You know, there's a little dirt on it here and there, especially in the cargo area, and that's got a little tear to it right there. But I mean, that's really the worst of the interior, which is pretty good. The only rust on the whole Jeep, and I mean the only rust, is under this sticker. You can see it kind of bubbled up a little bit. There's about maybe a dime size hole right behind this sticker, and then there's a little bit of this like rashy looking stuff, but that's it. There's no rust on the frame or the body at all anywhere else. And this is the original paint. The vinyl decal, I believe, was replaced by the previous owner, a guy named Sean Freen from Smyrna, Georgia. Had it before me. And that was about 4 years ago that I bought it from him. Actually, exactly 4 years ago. Let's see, what else? The rear window crank works great, and it has, there's a little lock that works. Crank it up. Good glass. The undercarriage, there's nothing wrong or rusty here, but as you can see, it's a 40-year-old Jeep, so like there's a little oil everywhere, and yeah, it's like, you know, it's just a little bit damp. It's not dripping oil like a sieve or anything, but I mean, you can see this is where I park it, and over years and years of parking it here, there's a little bit of an oil stain, but it's not like, you can tell it's not actively dripping oil all the time. I put in about a quart every few months of engine oil. Basically 1 quart every other oil change is kind of what it kind of comes out to for me. That I have to add a quart in before the next one. And the ATF, it holds like 14 quarts of ATF, which is a lot, but like I said, the ATF is only 2 years old since I rebuilt the transmission, and it drips a little bit out of the dipstick tube for the trans. And by a little, I mean I have to add a quart about every 6 months. I mean a really, 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 really little bit. Pop the hood, and there's the motor. I think I listed everything in the ad that I've already done, but pretty much anything wearable items, I guess you would call it, and typical things you have to replace: water pump, steering pump, plugs, wires, this HEI style ignition, so it doesn't have the external coil anymore. I got rid of, I did some things to try to tidy up the engine compartment. So I took out the smog pump, put these little bolts in the exhaust manifolds to plug those off, took the smog pump off. I have the smog pump and the air injection tubes and everything. I have the original EGR manifold and everything like that, but this is an Edelbrock 1407 electric choke carburetor and a non-EGR manifold. Again, I just did some things to eliminate vacuum leak sources, just to make this thing run as well as it could, and to simplify tuning it. I can't stand working on old cars and chasing down vacuum leaks left and right. It's got a good battery in it. I think that's less than a year old, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but it wasn't that long ago. Under the hood is kind of ugly. I think that at one point there was like some kind of insulation and batting. You can see it's got like it looks like fiberglass insulation, but it's kind of peeled off. There's no rust holes or anything like that. It's solid as a rock, but it's just a little ugly. The radiator is the original radiator. I had it restored at a radiator shop here in Carrollton. All new belts. What else? Oh, the AC worked. According to the previous owner, the AC worked. So I tried to, and it had been converted to 134A, the new refrigerant. So I tried to top it off, and it worked for about 20 minutes, and then the pump seized. So I took the AC pump and bracket off. It goes right there normally, right in here. So I have the pump and the bracket. Everything else is still in place, but you could either rebuild the pump or just order a new one for about $240, and then any shop could, replace the Freon in it for maybe $200.